Hi everybody and welcome back to Tales of Wanderlust. It's been a while. I am Cass, and if you want a tour of my new truck camper sitting on the back of my truck, then stay tuned. So welcome to our newest rig. This is a 2005 Lance 845 truck camper. I found it on Facebook Marketplace in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Based on my last video about the scam, I did not put any kind of deposit on it, and he did try to sell out from underneath me, but I was able to convince him to hold it for a few days. This truck camper was used as his old hunting rig, so it was really dirty on the inside, but overall in actually pretty good condition. There was a little bit of water damage up by the front window, which is really common for having the front window on a truck camper. I was able to take it out for its maiden voyage, which was a success. It is Jasper approved, knock on wood. This rig is going to work for a little bit of time. Don't want to jinx it after that last truck camper. So I knew I wanted to put the solar, the lithium, everything in here. Beginning of July, I focused on installing the Battleborn batteries, the inverter charger, solar, everything like that. So the electrical is completely set up for boondocking and working off grid. My last camper, it took 9 months to do a full renovation. I was very careful about everything I was doing, but this one kind of just jumped in. So it's not perfect by any means. It is also not fully complete. Like the floor you'll see is still old, dirty yellow floor. I'll work on projects like that as we go. It is 60% complete, but it isn't a good enough point. The only thing that's kind of a pain right now, which you'll see, is the fridge. I have no fridge, so I'll explain that when I get there. But that's what's been going on since the last time we talked. I've also started taking classes again to finish up my master's, which I've got 4 classes to go. I will be done by May. So I'm going to be balancing work, my master's degree, finishing up the truck camper, exploring, and doing YouTube videos. So with that, there probably won't be consistent YouTube videos until maybe next year. I'm going to try to do about once or twice a month until then, but I need to balance it with a lot of other different things right now. So that is what is going on with us. But with that, let's jump in. Let me give you a quick tour. And of course, as I start this, it just started raining. So you can probably hear that on the roof. So you might have background noise while we do this. It is also 95 degrees outside. I don't have a thermostat in here yet. I can't tell you how hot it is in here yet, but it is really hot. And I can't open the windows because it's raining. So apologies for the sweat that is going to be dripping down my face here in a second. So the Lance 845, why did I end up with this truck camper? This is the right balance between lightweight and tank sizes. So they have lighter weight truck campers with a very similar layout, but you have smaller tanks. In this 845, I've got a 33-gallon fresh, I'm pointing back here, but it's actually here. I've got a 33-gallon freshwater tank, and then a 14 and 12-ish gray and black separate tank. So these are also the biggest tanks I've ever had on a rig. And with that, I know I can boondock for 2 weeks straight. Although now being a self-contained mobile truck camper unit, I don't know if I'll stay put for 2 weeks straight, but I have the option. Dry weight is around 2,100, 2,200 pounds, but I know with batteries and so forth, I'm going to be over that dry base weight. But the payload on the Ram 3,500 is about 3,700 pounds. So I'm hoping to stay under payload or right around payload once everything is said and done. So that is why I ended up with this camper, because it was a good layout, no slides. I didn't want to have to mess with slides. And once everything was in, I'm hoping to be under payload on the Ram still. I wanted an older truck camper because I want to do a lot of boondocking with this, and I know I'm going to get a lot of scratches, dents, and so forth on the outside. With my Airstream base camp, I was a little cautious, more cautious sometimes than I wanted to be, because it was a $35,000 rig. They cost a lot more than that now, and I really didn't want to do too much damage to it. So having a $9,000 used older truck camper is really exactly what I wanted, because if I do a little bit of damage to it, I can fix it. It doesn't have to be perfect, and that's kind of the point. Also, the newer truck campers right now are between $35,000 to $60,000, and I did not want to spend that on a camper. I wanted a Northern Light, but the Northern Lights are still going for a premium price right now. Same with the Bigfoot truck campers. A comparable Bigfoot would have run me about $20,000, roughly. So that's why I went with a Lance. Also, Lance are known to have really good quality. So although it is not the fiberglass shell, it's still really good quality overall. At first, I was a little bit biased towards the fiberglass shell, but once I started pulling it apart and seeing the electrical they did, how they put it together, it actually is put together really well and really solidly, and I'm really happy with it. Done talking about specs for now. Let's take a quick tour. With these small rigs, you have now moved 2 feet to a new perspective. So welcome to the dinette. So this area here is where the bunk used to be. Took that whole bunk out. It is a good solid shelf. There's actually lighting underneath here. If I can turn it on. There's the button. So I got light under here. There's actually an outlet, so there's electrical running through this shelf. I found this live edge piece of wood at a local wood shop here in Colorado Springs, and I wanted a mountain scene, and I completely lucked out the fact that it's almost a mountain perfectly, which if you're familiar with Colorado Springs, it kind of looks like Pikes Peak. Just saying. Took this, planed it down, put a coat of poly on it. It is held up by 5 screws into the wood, and it is solid. So that is holding up the bins up here, which have all of my gear in them. And then there's still room where I can put my day pack, those sort of things up there. There is a pretty good lip here from the wood, so it's about 4 inches at the lowest point. So the baskets actually do stay up here pretty well. Next is the dinette area. So this is a nice U-shaped dinette. This will come off the lagoon table, sit down here. The whole thing folds down into an additional sleeping area, which I've never had guest sleeping areas before other than people sleeping in the back of my 4Runner. So this is a really nice feature. It came with your standard, I'm still getting used to it. I've never had a lagoon table before, but there we go. We got it. So, I'm stuck. Either way, now you can see it's a lagoon table here. It used to be the standard metal leg table. These cushions I also had reupholstered. The cushions were disgusting. They were greasy. You sat on them and it just felt dirty. So this is new memory foam off of Amazon. The fabric I purchased from Joann's. And then there is an upholstery shop here in Colorado Springs called Top Notch Upholstery. Does a really good job for the price, and for wanting to do this quickly, it really was worth it to have that done by somebody else. Do you hear the storm coming in? I am currently parked on top of the hill, so we may end up moving here in a second, so I am not a lightning magnet anymore. But we'll try to finish quick. So down here, I ended up putting a Gorilla Grip fluffy cover on top of the footrest, which, oh, and 2 inches of memory foam on here, which A, is really nice to just put my feet on. B, it has a storage area underneath. But also with Napoleon, that might be a really cozy area for him to curl up. He hasn't curled up there yet, so it might end up just being for my feet, but we'll see if he actually ends up using it. And if you're wondering where I was able to get batteries, underneath this bench here, there is an outdoor cabinet, which I completely water sealed, and that is where the Battleborn battery is hidden. So I have 270 amp hours of lithium batteries under there. There's actually enough room for me to put more, which is awesome. The 270 amp hours has always been plenty for me, but that was before I wanted to use Starlink. So once I hook up Starlink, which I've heard is a little bit of a battery hog, we'll see how it runs, and I can always add more. Now, for the best part, this is why I have this rig and not my old one. The bathroom. It has a nice little wet bath in here. Nothing super fancy. Upgraded the shower head to an Oxygenetics, which I really enjoy those. It has a cupboard in here. I've lost the word of what this is, but it's great for toilet paper storage, things like that. It is a little dirty in here because I leave the vent open. So when I park under a tree, a lot of stuff gets in here. And then the funniest part, look at this, ready? Where do you think your toilet paper is? There's your toilet paper. So from the wet bath, moving into the kitchen, I have a pantry, which is nice. I still need to figure out how to organize it because it's really deep but narrow. So I have some baskets that I just got today in here, and I'll see if I can figure that out. Up here, there used to be a microwave here, and instead of putting on a cabinet door, I put on some netting, which I can keep my cutlery here, and then all my plates, everything like that is stored behind it. And then there is another cupboard up here. Built in, as I step on my shoes, built in is a car stereo, which I actually have speakers on the roof, which is really nice to have that all built in. But there's a ghost in my radio, and it randomly turns on by itself. I haven't figured that one out yet. So if you have any idea why my radio is turning on by itself, let me know. And then in the kitchen itself, I have the stove, which I've never had a stove before, so I'm excited to make biscuits and things like that for the morning breakfast. And then up here, there's a 3-burner cooktop, and it is slightly broken, so I gotta fix that. A little bit of counter space, the world's most shallow sink, so whenever I wash up, water splashes everywhere. In the future, I do want to change that, but for now, it is what it is. I did put a new faucet head on, so that way I can position it, move things around, and try not to spray water as far. And then there is a small cabinet down here. Not much storage, but there's enough room for a water filter, which I'll put in, so I can drink out of the tanks. And that's where all of the plumbing and electrical is. Then, how did I get Jasper approval ratings? I built a dog step. So with Jasper, getting up into the bed is not an easy task. If he struggles at all, if he slips ever, it freaks him out, and then he's done. That is why I actually have to lift him up and put him in the truck, because he fell out of the 4Runner once. So now, even though I'm on the Ram, not 4Runner, he still won't jump into a truck. So with the step, he can now jump on the little dog bed or cat bed area. He can go up onto the bench, onto the step, onto the bed. So it's easy for him to go up and down, and he's very happy with the setup. Now you may have noticed I am missing a very large appliance. So the fridge in this truck camper, funny enough, actually does not fit out the door. So when I bought the truck camper, the fridge kind of worked, and especially with the cost of groceries nowadays, once I start spending a lot of time in here, I'm going to have like $100 worth of groceries in the fridge. And having a fridge I didn't trust, to me, that is worth changing to a different fridge. So upon removing the fridge, found out it does not actually fit out the back door. I really didn't want to get into removing the whole frame, so called Michael, and he cut my fridge in half. We took the fridge out in 2 pieces, and now the new fridge I want to put in is going to be smaller. It's going to be a 3 cubic foot fridge, which will come up to about here, and then I'll be able to build up storage here, which is where I'll put the dog food. And it also gave me the ability to put some of the electrical over here. So I will end up putting a wall, put a vent for all the electrical, I'll put a vent here for the fridge, and then I'll build in the fridge and have dog food storage. So to me, having a slightly smaller fridge than what was here is really nice, because I get all my electrical components and dog food storage, which otherwise would take away from my cupboard storage. I do have air conditioning in here, but you'll notice the cover, it does fall off when I'm driving. So it is currently sitting here. So I'm gonna pull the AC, put in a fan, which with that I will have above the bed, the escape hatch, I will have a fan here, and I will have a fan above the door and in the bathroom. So hopefully that helps to keep us cool. We usually chase cooler weather, even in the summer, and in the base camp I use my air conditioning twice. And that was only when I was in Texas. So I'm hoping by taking this out, I won't regret it. And if I ever do, I'm going to try to look into a 12-volt AC and put that in here instead. And with that, we move into the bedroom area. So the bedroom area is actually really spacious. This is a queen size bed in here. It is not an RV queen. It is a true full-size queen. This is a spring mattress, which is amazing because I was never comfortable on memory foam mattresses. So in the base camp, because of the weird shape of the bed, I had to go with memory foam. In the Northern Light, it was like a 1.5 size bed, so you had to go with memory foam. In here, having a regular mattress is amazing. The mattress itself is not that comfortable. So this is the wool topper. It's like a plush topper that goes on top. Then in the back here, I have 2 different cabinets for clothes. I've got 2 additional drawers for clothes. And then a random little cubby up in the corner here, which I haven't quite quite figured out if or what I'm gonna actually store up there, maybe my iPad. And then lots of additional room on the side. The additional space let me build an additional cushion. With building the additional cushion, it actually is the width of a king size bed, which is nice. And then there's even more space over here that I could add in another cushion if I need to. So it is a huge sleeping area. So up here I also have 3 windows and an escape hatch. So I can open that up. Only 2 of the windows open, the front window doesn't open, but there is a nice cross breeze when you sleep. You can see the stars, the views. I'm really loving it. And there is our new rig. Overall, it has bigger tanks, more room, and is more comfortable than the base camp or the prior truck camper. I am also very happy to take hot showers at night. Funny part is there's no interior controls for the hot water heater, so I have to go outside to light it. So that is something to get used to, but overall, really loving the new rig. I'm very excited to get Jasper Napoleon back out in it and share our future travels with you. So we really do appreciate you sticking around since it's been a while since we posted videos. I do have that painting video and electrical video coming out, and then hopefully we'll have travel videos again. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. If you have any questions on this rig, why this rig, feel free to comment below. Otherwise, we will talk to you soon. Have a good one, everybody.